Rohit obviously Dahibara is something which is very कटकी फॉर हिम. एक लिस्ट बना देंगे सबका फेवरेट दहीबरा कहाँ कहाँ मिलता है क्या कुछ. व्हाट डू यू वांट. आई सेड जो भी तुम्हारा फेवरेट दहीबरा वाला है ना उस दिन उसका सेल आउट कर दो. एंड दहीबरा खाने के बाद जो दही पानी पीने का जो मजा कुछ और ही है.
Namaskar, I am Juggernaut, presenting the Urban Khatti, stories from Odisha to the world. Namaskar, I am Juggernaut, welcoming you to a fresh new episode of the Urban Khatti, stories from Odisha to the world. Today, as we are recording on Dahibara Divas, this episode is like little special to me because people who have listened to my songs already know the love I have for Dahibara, and it's like very predictable being a Cuttack. Today I have another Cuttack with me, so welcoming Chef Rachit Kirteeman. Welcome Rachit bhai to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.
So how are you?
I'm good, super excited to be on the show.
So how you feel about the show, about the concept?
Yeah, I mean, Dahibara is something like, as you said, like every Katkiya, it's like, it's more than a food for a Katkiya.
I feel it's not, even some people say it's an emotion.
It's an emotion.
But being a Cuttack, it's even more.
Yeah, it's more like if you have
you cannot express that emotion.
True, it's like if you have a birthday party, you go and have Dahibara. If you have a breakup also, you go and have Dahibara.
Exactly, and it's like coming in a place like,
right.
I have my friends coming in and they are like, people lunch also they are having Dahibara.
Right.
In the dinner also, like
yeah.
10 a.m. near the Naya Sadak.
Correct.
People are having Dahibara, so that's how crazy it is.
It is.
Yeah.
So I think we'll speak about a lot more about
the
it.
Birthplace of Dahibara.
Yeah, true.
So we'll initially start off from you. So like as an artist, I have a certain philosophy when I create some art, something. Being a chef, do you have like any sort of philosophy while creating? Or before that, we would like to know how all this journey began.
So in Odisha there is this famous saying that we say ki 12 masa 13 parva. It's like we have 13 festivals in 12 months. Basically it's ये एक चीज होता है, like the way they basically put it, it's like we have so many festivals that one calendar year is short. 12 months in a year is short for it. So and if you observe closely, be it anywhere in Odisha, festivals तो वो होते हैं, like harvest festival, Rajjo is a brilliant festival, whatever happens, but all the festival, unlike other places in the country, most of it is centered around food.
Yeah.
If you observed, it's like कि ओडिया लोगों को मतलब खिलाना बहुत पसंद है, like we love eating and we love feeding people. So it's like every festival is just I feel it's just another excuse to make lots of good food. So being brought up in Cuttack, like I've always seen that. Like I've always seen like food being prepared, like that being the center of discussion even before कि पता चले कि किस पूजा, what is the puja that is happening. Like as kids, we didn't know कि there is somebody say funeral का 11th day. In other places you have mourning. Here it's like अच्छा what is going to be on the menu. It might sound very dark, but वो ऐसा है कि people keep discussing अच्छा that person used to like this, so maybe we'll get this nonna to cook or ye catering. Though it's like that is how important food is to Odia people.
And
so
by culture also it is so infused, like because if you just keep on in that mourning state, it will just keep on.
You'll just be in that state of mind. Oh, I'm so sad, but you have to move on.
There you have, there you are doing things.
Right.
Just for the liberation of that holy soul. And later, the belief is that when people come, they have food there.
Correct.
You will be socializing with a lot of people. You will feel better in a sort of way.
So I grew up in a very in a family where food was very important. Like Sundays used to be like day off for everybody in the kitchen, and dad used to make sure that I'll cook mutton today. So it used to be a thing. So I used to always think that food is more than just like ये बोलते हैं कि like जिंदगी में आप whatever you're doing, like hard work and this and that, everything is पेट के लिए करते हैं. It's true, but then also you have to understand that food is something that brings people together, communities together, especially in a place like Cuttack. बोलते हैं भाईचारा का शहर है, like there are so many communities that stay in Cuttack. So I've always been around food, like, you go to Naya Sadak, like, you'll get Gujarati snacks and Rajasthani snacks because most of the trader communities are there.
Yeah.
So I think food was something that intrigued me as a kid a lot. I was more interested to see actually what is happening in the kitchen. If like, say something like chunchi patra pitha, which is like one of the most complicated ones to make actually.
Okay.
बहुत delicate होता है उसको. Some people use a bunch of धूप घास. उसमें बैटर को डाल के they put it on the tawa, so वो जाली जैसे बनेगा. It's very delicate to make. So it's not like other pita that you can make. So I was like, ये बनता कैसे? So I was more interested always in the kitchen to see what is actually happening there.
So like since school?
Yeah, you can say that. Like I remember one instance was like, so my mom used to be a teacher, and so it's like
So you actually have to be my senior, and his mom was actually our teacher in school.
So so she used to go to school, and me and my brother were studying. Dad used to go to the office. I think one of the days, I was like, "नहीं मुझे omelette करना है." And so my mom, she said, "If you want to make it yourself." So I was like, "Yeah, make it yourself." So I don't know how to make an omelette. And it's like probably 7th, 8th standard. So probably I learned to make an omelette first, and obviously it was a disaster. पहला वाला तो एकदम disaster होके निकला. But so that is where my interest in food picked up, and I was always interested in going to the market to see why people are picking vegetables by checking them. As kids we used to like, अच्छा 1 kilo आलू मतलब ऐसे उठा लो, but you're seeing people are checking. So I wanted to know what is happening. That was a natural progression, and I did my 11th and 12th, and then I gave my exams, entrance for one of the most prestigious colleges in India for hotel management, which is Welcome Group's Hotel Management College in Manipal.
Okay.
And people like Vikas Khanna, Chef Thomas, all of them are alumni from that college. So I think that was a very good decision to pick Manipal, especially that particular college, because that's where the foundation of being a chef was set correctly, I would say.
It's like the IITs of chefs?
I would say that's the MIT of chefs.
Okay.
It's like that good. It's that good because a lot of people do hotel management, and then there's like a burnout that happens after one point. कि आप एक point के बाद you're like, अरे यार, what am I doing? It's not exactly frustration, but it's like a burnout because let's be very honest, like hospitality industry is pretty demanding.
Okay.
It's pretty demanding. To be in that. Be 100% in that industry, you really need to have your basics correct.
Like what's the demand? Like demanding in the sense?
We have long hours, that goes without saying. You virtually wouldn't have like a social life initially. Okay. I'll give you an example. So when I started working after graduating, I came for my cousin's wedding and I felt like a guest. Okay. Because it was just like, I used to work in Goa for the longest of time. So at that time there was no direct flight, so it's like via Bombay and all of that. So anyways, जो भी है flight पकड़ा आया. 4 days before the wedding, so there was Mehendi, Sangeet, this, that, wedding, and then I was back to work. It just went like that. So I was like, so you don't have social life as such. Your social life is all the people you work with. Okay. You'll make plans with them, you'll make road trips with them, you'll end up going out to eat with them. It's just like that. But that's one of the things, and obviously you're in the service industry, so you are dealing directly with customers, and something which is something as important as food, which people are paying. So that comes into play कि कहीं गलत order ना हो जाए. So there's a lot of things at work. So it's pretty demanding mentally like that, and physically.
So you are playing, it is not just about food, it is more about the experience.
Yeah, because why would somebody pay money to go out and eat? Like, so just visualizing this is like, अगर आप restaurant में गए हो खाने के लिए, so you're paying like say 100 rupees for a dosa. But that is not all. You have taken time out, you have traveled from your home to the restaurant, found a parking. If it's like somewhere in Bangalore, so traffic mein you have got, it's like a mission.
If you made a parking, it's like you have to make a choice which restaurant
have to go. So it's like that. So the person is not paying 100 rupees for a dosa. That person is paying way more than that. And you need to give that experience to them so that they are happy at the end of the day. So it's much more than just कि ऐसे खाना रख दिया plate पे,
So it's like they would be coming again. So you want to give them with that.
Yeah, like you check on them, like
feel it, okay.
Yeah. So those are very important to be a good professional in the hospitality industry, and I'm honored and privileged that my college is one of the best in the country to give us that set of tools to be ready to face the industry. So yeah, that's how I started my journey, hotel management. Then I used to work with some leading brands for like 12 years at a stretch. Then that thing happened, ki, not burnout exactly, but that's where this whole. So we're going to talk about Dahibara. So so we had one of our customers, regulars in Goa. He used to come to the restaurant. He had a job where he used to travel a lot across India, and he happened to be in Koraput for work. And he said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to your state," and I went to Koraput and I ate this brilliant dish, and I'm pretty sure you know how to make it. I was like, no, I don't know how to make it. So then he was like, what? Your state has so much of food. You're making such a great, Lebanese platter, because that's what I was trained in when I used to work in hotels. I used to work in Mediterranean restaurant. कि इतना अच्छा hummus बनाते हो, this, that, but you don't know how to make your own food. Okay. I was like, no, not really, So that was like, no, abhi ho gaya. Now I need to go back probably and see what is my, Odisha's food. And that's how I came back to Odisha, and I've been, promoting Odia food across India, and hopefully we're going to take it out of India very soon. Yeah.
So right now, do we have like few startups also that are coming up, like Dahibara.com?
Dahibara Express. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a sign, like, I mean, a lot of my friends, I mean, no offense, from North India, jo aate hain, so when I tell them, let's have Dahibara aludam, so like, what? Dahibara aludam? So the moment you say Dahibara aludam, unke dimag mein aa jata hai, it's like dahi bhalla, which is different.
Yeah, Delhi they have that they will put this much of
so उनके दिमाग में आता है कि यार ये बोल रहे इतने बड़े दही भल्ले में आलूदम डाल के खाओगे. So that won't work. So we have to tell them, hello, it's not that. So when you tell like people from, I mean, no offense, like my friends who also came from Delhi and Bombay, कि अरे कटक में चलो तुमको दहीबरा आलूदम खिलाता हूँ. They're like कि दहीबरा आलूदम? So then I'm like, like this is what we eat. But then I realized कि they are considering it is like dahi bhalla. It's like this chart, एक बड़ा दही भल्ला होता है, and उसमें some मसाला, वो सब जाता है, and उस पे आलूदम. So that's where they think, this is anything, like we're not eating. Okay. So then I had to explain to them कि it's not like that. It's like छोटा दही वड़ा, पानी एकदम बटर मिल्क जैसा छाछ जैसा होता है. It's not like thick curd. There is no chutney, nothing. The aludam also is very basic masala that is, used in Odia kitchens. And every person who has never eaten Dahibara aludam, has eaten it for the first time in Cuttack, has always had a second helping.
Okay.
I have observed that. Like all my friends who have come, like who are chefs, who write about food, who document about food, even people are not remotely related to food also.
Okay.
The moment you break that myth, it's not what you're thinking, and you have that first bite of Dahibara aludam, oh my god, उसके बाद तो लोग एक खाने के बाद और एक चाहिए, हाँ और एक, it's like that.
So like Dahibara, like जैसे like momos, suppose it all became a Chibayo momo, it became a chain, and there are many other
Yeah.
So do you feel like Dahibara Express will be, and similar more other startups, like they will be making a good demand, like a place in Delhi or Bangalore maybe?
So one major, I won't say it's a hurdle, but I would say it's an observation that I see in something like a Dahibara startup actually, coming to probably the lines of franchisees or pizza franchises that are in India, is Dahibara aludam is something which is
shelf life
is very hyper regional. शेल्फ लाइफ नहीं, मतलब वो है कि अभी तो ओडिशा में सब जगह मिलता है, बट इट यूज्ड टू बी सो हाइपर लोकल, इट यूज्ड टू बी ओनली कटक एंड मे बी 50 kilometers around Cuttack, Athagad, just this circle. Then slowly, so I remember once I had was in Sundargarh, which is like so far from Cuttack, और वहाँ पे हम बहुत भूख लग रहा था, बस से उधर से we saw this guy, वहाँ पे लिखा था दहीबरा आलूदम, and my friend was like खाते हैं, I said तू पागल है क्या, कटक से आके दहीबरा आलूदम यहाँ, it was like that. So I said, it's, and nothing was open that time. It was early morning, winters I remember, in Sundargarh it is like really cold, तो मैंने बोला चलो खा लेते हैं. But the moment we ate it, first thing I asked कि भाई आपका घर कहाँ पे? तो बोला जगतपुर. मैंने बोला अच्छा okay, you know you could connect immediately. So Dahibara is something like that. So to actually make it like a successful, probably not a chain but a chain of quick service restaurants, QSR, let's put it like that. It'll take some challenge, and I think the major
it's
challenge
more about like how you feel.
Yeah.
The one who has felt it can make it better.
हाँ, और उसको मतलब you have to promote it, and I don't think there's a better option to promote something like that than what we are talking about is Dahibara Divas. You know what we're celebrating. I don't think there's a better way to promote it, because the more the people know, देखो chaat is something that people already know about. You know, it's like pan India. You know, momo is something which is, I mean, not Indian, but now it's pan India. You know, so people are kind of familiar with it. But Dahibara Aludam bolte, you know, the people are like, okay, what is this? You know, is it something from Bengal? You know, is it something
right now
from
there were
Andhra?
videos made after the chef Vikas Khanna.
Yeah. So you know, it's like that. So people, I mean, see, for him also, he actually went and tried the recipe back in Bombay, and so I mean, I think the restaurant that is planning to open in Dubai, it will be on the menu. You know, so hopefully. I mean, I don't know. You don't quote me on this. But I mean, he's from my college. Maybe I know the. But whatever. Maybe this is the inside news. But he did try the recipe out, and you know the proper way the recipe is supposed to be. And you know, it's a very versatile recipe. This I'll give it to it, because it is something that, you know, in Cuttack also, wherever we eat, na, wo spice level alag hai. Everything differs, na. And people who like it, matte ragga, like tikha chahiye, so I'll go to this guy. So Dahibara Aludam is again something which is very versatile, just like a North Indian chaat. कहीं पे वो धनिया का चटनी एकदम तीखा होता है, कहीं पे कम होता है. So it's like that preference. So it is a good model to actually do a QSR. So I mean, it's like if anybody is listening to the podcast, wants any professional input into it, we are more than happy to give. But yeah, I mean, I would be more than happy to see a Dahibara QSR in India.
Yeah, so we'll be talking more on the Dahibara Divas, but we missed one question. Right? As an artist, while I create, like we were talking, I have a certain philosophy. Okay, I'll make certain types of songs,
right,
or I'll have these do's, these don'ts
correct.
I'm creating my because creativity happens in a zone where there are no boundaries, but also you have to set certain boundaries. So do you have, like in cooking, like, sir, you believe that there are such artistic skills over there, or
it is like you know, I'll quote Marco Pierre White. He's like a legendary chef. I mean, basically he's Gordon Ramsay's guru. That's where Gordon Ramsay, you know, learnt what he does best. So Marco Pierre White had said, you know, cooking is a philosophy. Until it's bakery, then it's chemistry. Okay. So bakery is something you can't guess and work. मतलब उसमें इतना मैदा में इतना yeast डालना है, मतलब डालना है. उससे ज़्यादा हो गया तो it'll be out of the oven, और कम हो गया तो so you know, bakery is pure chemistry. But cooking is a philosophy. You know, that I completely believe in. In the sense, you know, for me, what I try to always keep is I try to keep simple flavors. You know, I don't put too many things on the plate. Like even when I'm trying to reinterpret like a traditional dish, I basically try to keep the textures what were in the original recipe as close as possible in my interpretation. Yeah, but you think of it like you look at it in a different way. Like I remember one of the pop-ups we did in Calcutta. So one of the course was, you know, bhatto and chungudi besara. Okay, so that was the course. But now this was a sit-down menu, 6 courses, no service. Like, you know, the food will come in a plate. So I had to rethink that whole recipe. Ki how do I incorporate rice and prawns in a dish where, you know, people can just pick it up and eat it. You know, it was supposed to be there, like 2 bites. You know. So what we did is we took the rice. And the idea for that recipe was कि ये paddy field जो होता है जहाँ पे मतलब, you know, rice होता है. So वो क्या होता है ना, if you've been to a paddy field, हर एक paddy field is marked, you know, एक कियारी बोलते हैं उसको. तो उसके बीच में एक होता है boundary where you basically where you walk. So जो ऊपर होते हैं फार्म, मतलब जो लैंड होता है, तो वहाँ से पानी इरिगेशन होकर नीचे को आता है. तो हीडो के बीच में वो तोड़ के गैप में लगाते हैं बैम्बू के बॉक्सेस मच्छी पकड़ने. वो जो कैनाल से छोटे मच्छी आते हैं, which prawns also come. So the idea was that कि, you know, a farmer who grows rice actually makes a meal within like 10 kilometers of his farmland. मतलब he doesn't need to go. सरसों में हाट में मिल जाता है, That was the idea. But to make it like that, so we made like a rice cracker. So basically, we boiled the rice, dried it out, made like papad out of it, and then cooked the prawns, served it on top of that. And with like a nice, tomato poda chutney. So it was like you pick it up, like it was like it was, just a disc of rice with like prawns, which gives you the essence, but you are not full because we had 6-7 courses to pace through. So in that what happened, I tried to keep like so जब भी चावल वावल हम लोग खाते हैं बड़ी चूरा खाते हैं, so I didn't want to add badi there. So but that crispness I get rice से, so we keep the textures like that. So that's my principle. I always like now like a lot of people who are joining the industry message me and DM me on Instagram, can you give us some tips? So I always keep them like try to keep it simple. Keeping a dish simple is the most difficult thing to do. मैं तो 1000 चीज डाल के I can make it extravagant. Like the same dish में I'll put like some coriander leaves को dry ice में डाल के एकदम crush करके ऊपर. I can do 100 things. It'll taste brilliant. But keeping it simple is the most difficult thing to do.
The most thing like I see like the night scrolling I'm doing. Adding the cheese, like on Delhi street.
Yeah. वो तो जो लगता है कि उन लोगों का डायरेक्ट सप्लाई.
हाँ जिसमें और चीज डाल.
और चली चीजें हाँ मतलब.
फिर ऐसे बटर काट के डाल.
हाँ yeah. So those things add like उसमें तो फ्लेवर कवर हो जाता है. But अगर आप actually 4-5 ingredient के साथ डिश बना रहे हैं ना, you can't go wrong there. I remember in one of my placement interviews I was asked like the final round. So we were asked like after group discussion ये सब खत्म हो गया, we were asked कि what is name a dish which describes you and why, and they were like this was like one of my dream job ka placement, so there were like 6 of us left from 35 of us, and तो मैं लास्ट में था जब सब लोगों ने बोला कि मेरा ये है बीफ वेलिंगटन बिकॉज इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होता है उसको बनाना, बिकॉज आपको स्टेक को पहले बनाना पड़ेगा, पफ पेस्ट्री बनाना पड़ेगा, ये वो फलाना इनका ना. तो मेरे तब जो है मैं तब तक सोच रहा था मैं क्या बोलूँ, लाइक व्हाट इज दिस क्वेश्चन. तो मेरे पास जब आए तो मैंने बोला दाल चावल. So they were like, the panel, they were like, excuse me? I said dal and rice. So they were like, that describes you. I said, why? They said, why? So I said, it is probably the most simplest thing that you can eat, but it is the easiest thing to screw up. True. अगर चावल बनाना नहीं आता तो वो अगर ओवर बॉयल हो गया, that rice is done. अंडर कुक हो गया, आपने खा लिया, पेट जैसा दुखेगा, मतलब रात भर सोने पर. एंड दाल वो बॉयल करना इजी है, बट उसका जो तड़का में राइट चीज, लाइक आई हैव सीन सो मेनी टाइम्स, कभी नमक नहीं है दाल में, फर्स्ट अब राइस दाल खा लिया, लाइक यार क्या खा लिया है ना. सो इट्स लाइक दैट थिंग, उसमें कुछ है नहीं, यू विल स्क्रू इट अप वेरी क्विकली, and that answer got me my job, so I was like
I remember one of my brothers telling me like if you go to a restaurant and they don't make the dal good, then
you should just walk out.
Because if they don't make the basic dal good, I cannot assure of the rest of that.
Yeah, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. A lot of people ask me, because I was in Goa for a very long time, कि यार कौन सा अच्छा शेक होता है, कैसे पता चलेगा. I said वहाँ पे जाके फर्स्ट बोलो एक फ्रेश लाइम सोडा देने, उसी से पता चल जाएगा रेस्टोरेंट कितना अच्छा है. बिकॉज मेकिंग अ गुड फ्रेश लाइम सोडा इज अगेन अ चैलेंज, बिकॉज इट्स जस्ट सोडा, लेमन, सॉल्ट, दैट्स इट, 3 things, एंड उसमें आपको राइट अमाउंट होने से ही वो अच्छा लगेगा.
Talking about Dahibara on this situation, like I make certain, like before I eat, if I don't know Dahibara, like I'm living here, so I don't know a lot of people. But if I have to try somewhere at a new place, I first look at like what the aloo-dum texture is, what kind of sev, like is it that ready-made?
हाँ, correct. या मोटा.
Is it that मोटा sev?
घर में बनता है जो, right. Yeah, no, those things matter.
Those things I see. Okay, now coming back to our main topic, Dahibara Divas. So, like growing up in school, we didn't have any Dahibara Divas, but now we had a Dahibara Divas. So, can you explain like how all this started?
Actually, it's pretty interesting that I'm doing this podcast, because Dahibara Divas was started by a couple of my friends.
Okay.
So again, one of our guys from our school, Rohit. Rohit, he runs this thing called Food Findo, and Vishwajit, Just Wish.
Yeah.
Okay, so these two buggers, when I had come back from Goa, and it was 2018, I remember. 19 is when it first started. So now Vishwajit had made a video on 5 top Dahibara places in Cuttack, and वो काफी viral गया था YouTube में था. It had gone super viral. And at the same time, Rohit had also done a video about just like a Dahibara being plated at Kunna Tunna stadium के बाद और ऐसे plate में रख रहा है उसने video बनाया that got on Facebook like some I think now it's like raked I think 9 or 10 million के ऊपर हो गया है and they were like कि and we observed when we saw कि बहुत लोग जो देख रहे हैं वो यहाँ के नहीं थे somehow they were interested somehow they were interested to see कि क्या है why are they making a video on this and this was just यही मार्च के पास था and अभी just post Makar Sankranti the heat starts going the temperature starts going up so ऐसे ही they decided कि let's do this thing called Dahibara Divas so हमने बोला Dahibara Divas क्या करना है इसमें so they were like nothing we'll just run a campaign on Twitter and just basically like Avengers assemble ऐसे करेंगे we'll like get whosoever can and just do it like a fun exercise we never had any idea that it will go
I remember a Facebook event or something was created
right
and because I was at Delhi at that point of time and I was seeing that okay
ये क्या हो रहा है हाँ so we were like we'll just call friends and family and एक list बना देंगे सबका favorite Dahibara कहाँ मिलता है क्या कुछ and we'll just put like a छोटा सा placard in our favorite Dahibara spots and we won't say कि यहाँ पे खाओ we were like कि एक हम so for me it was like when people ask me what do you want I said जो भी तुम्हारा favorite Dahibara वाला है ना उस दिन उसका sell out कर दो आप लोग कुछ भी करके he'll be more than happy you are more than happy and that's it done na up something that you eat so that was the basic idea of doing it and we chose March 1st because it was already hot by then and Dahibara खाने के बाद जो दही पानी पीने का जो मजा कुछ और ही है so we said it's a good probably date and just to do it and that's how it started and next thing you know it's been it trended on Twitter people from Canada started like Odias who were in Canada they made it called their Canadian friends come try this and it was all over the place people in Australia were making it yeah it became like a thing so we were like chalo our idea of what we wanted is like met and now it's like it's something that is on autopilot every year people are looking forward कि Dahibara Divas में क्या करना है which is what we wanted last year I remember I think the CMC called a few Dahibara vendors at stadium kind of like felicitated them which was brilliant it's very good so that's how it started it's just
to actress it the idea to you guys
no but I don't think like even Vishwajit or Rohit would be seeing this podcast for sure I don't think like any of us would have wanted to IP करना है उसको it was just something that we
fun and love
yeah so Vishwajit also somebody who was born and brought up in Cuttack and वो ईश्वर के घर के पास रहते था हिंदोलकोटी में
when that video went viral I pinged him and told him that I am also from Storyteller
so so for him it was that and for Rohit obviously like Dahibara is something which is very कटकी for him so we never want कि हमको कोई बोले कि ये आपने start किया था but yeah somehow down the road like we are very happy and
we have this podcast
we are very very happy and yeah we totally brag about it whenever we do कि Dahibara Divas हमने start ऐसे मजाक में किया था
we'll put this we'll like cut this make a clickbait out of it
done so yeah that's the fun that's how it started
actually like you would have explored a lot of cuisines from different countries, different regions, traditional foods of different places, and you would have seen that certain food is favorite to certain type of people. And so, as an Odia, as a chef, what do you feel like? Why could be Dahibara like a favorite people of favorite food of a lot of people here, and whoever tastes it, why do they get hooked to the taste?
So let's go back a little about how Dahibara came into being.
Yeah.
वो एक चीज़ है.
That was one of our questions. But yeah.
Okay. Because it's important to know. I mean, how did it start? Like, why did somebody think of कि Dahibara में आलू दम डाल के ऐसे serve करने? Why did anybody think of it? I mean, funnily enough, in fact, like when the first year that we were doing this Dahibara Divas, all of us like tried to dig into any kind of research paper. We spoke to all the old vendors. Tab Ishwar was alive, Raghu was there also. So we asked all of them कि ये कहाँ से सीखा? तो रघु ने भी बोला कि उसने किससे सीखा था? कि ମୁଁ ମୋ ଗୁରୁଠୁ ଶିଖିଥିଲି. So I mean obviously that person is dead and gone. Ishwar also said कि he learned it from somebody, you know. So and we went to the state archives thinking there might be some, वहाँ पे भी कुछ नहीं मिला ऐसा. So then it was down to logic, like, you know, trying to understand why did this happen. So one of the theory is so there is this pilgrim road, you know, in Cuttack, जगन्नाथ सड़क उसको बोलते हैं. तो वेस्ट बंगाल से लेके पुरी तक जाता है बेसिकली. वो OMP वगैरह जो हाईवे है दैट इज जगन्नाथ सड़क ना. एंड पिलग्रिम रोड इज इट्स कॉल्ड नाउ आल्सो इफ यू लुक अप ऑन गूगल मैप इट्स कॉल्ड पिलग्रिम रोड बिकॉज ये पदयात्रा में जाते थे. सो नो ट्रैवलिंग फ्रॉम वेस्ट बंगाल दोज डेज ऑन फुट एंड बुलक कार्ट एंड ऑल. सो इट्स नॉट लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ प्लेसेज यू कैन टेक अ रेस्ट बिकॉज नाइट में तो वो ट्रैवल नहीं करते थे बिकॉज दैट टाइम देयर वाज नो हाईवे. डकैती वकैती ऑल ऑफ दैट होता था. सो बालेश्वर ऑफ वेस्ट बंगाल से आते थे. बालेश्वर यूज्ड टू बी अ स्टॉप. देन बालेश्वर से दे यूज्ड टू काइंड ऑफ ट्राई टू कवर up till like say Bhadrak or Bhadrak se pehle. Then next stop used to be Cuttack. Okay. So Cuttack was that time a city, you know, proper city, thriving city, you know, the British were here, so the security,
one of the
oldest cities, and you know there were good facilities and all. So they used to take a break here. So one of the theory that we spoke to a couple of food historians was कि probably there were a lot of these breakfast places, जलखिया दुकान जिसको बोलते हैं, on that stretch. एंड वहाँ पे वो बंगाली टूरिस्ट आते थे तो मे बी वो ऐसे पूरी आलूदम बेच रहा था. एंड प्रॉब्ली ही रैन आउट ऑफ पूरी. एंड देन देयर नो फ्रिज और ऑल. वो तो बड़ा वगैरह ऐसे जो हमारा बनता है बड़ा पियाजी वो तो ऐसे ही बनाते थे. उस टाइम फ्रिज व्रिज नहीं होता था. तो मे बी उसने एक्स्ट्रा बड़ा जो फ्राई किया उसको सोचा कि इसको क्या करना है, हर दही में डाल के उसको प्रॉब्ली प्रिजर्व कर दिया. कि उसने बोला कि दही में डालने से क्या खराब तो नहीं होगा, मतलब रात तक खराब हो जाएगा, बट ही कैन सेल इट एज लाइक यू नो दही वड़ा और व्हाटएवर. एंड प्रोबब्ली दैट्स हाउ ही कंबाइंड, यू नो, बिकॉज इफ यू सी द ओरिजिनल दहीबरा आलूदम रेसिपी जस्ट एज दहीबरा आलूदम. तो कटक में भी जैसे जैसे बोलते हैं ना हैदराबादी बिरयानी है, ये है बिरयानी है, कटक में भी मेरे रिसर्च के हिसाब से देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ दहीबरा. वन इज बिडानसी, ठीक है, वो एकदम ओजी है. बिडानसी दहीबरा ओरिजिनल मतलब बोलो तो वही है. Then there is the one which is a little more popular, which is Stadium, Naya Soda. Commercial नहीं, मतलब it's just like, you know, they added a little more. I mean, every recipe goes through certain changes over time, right? But if you go to Bidanasi even now, the original, नहीं बिडानासी में भी ये सब डाल के दे देते हैं, बट जो ओरिजिनल जो है रघु और पुनिया जो सुबह बैठते हो वो दहीबरा आलूदम पुनिया घुगनी देता है, बट कोई सेव वेव कुछ नहीं आता उसमें. सेव वेव
रघु also doesn't give
घुगनी nothing. It's like दहीबरा आलूदम, that's it. ठीक है. तो
compromise for that तीखा you have to eat those
पेड़ा जो कि पहले ऑड नंबर में बेचता था, लाइक वो एक प्लेट होता था 17 रुपए, 3 रुपए का पेड़ा, तो 20 रुपए दोगे तो पैसा मिलेगा नहीं वापस, ऐसा होता था. बिकॉज वी स्पोक टू अ कपल ऑफ पीपल हु आर वेरी गुड हिस्टोरियंस हु आर फ्रॉम भुवनेश्वर. तो तब वो बोलते थे ये लोग साइकिल लेके ट्रेन में आते थे, मास्टर कैंटीन में दहीबरा बेचते थे सेक्रेटरिएट के पास. यू नो साइकिल को लिटरली बांध देते थे ट्रेन में एंड हंडी लेके आते थे. Not Raghu, other vendors from Cuttack. Because there was nothing there, master canteen था और उतना कुछ खाने का नहीं था वहाँ. प्रिया होटल एक दो चीज था. So they used to take it and sell it there. To at the secretariat by 2 o'clock they are over and they're back. ट्रेन में जो शाम का ट्रेन आता उसमें आ जाते थे. So मेरे हिसाब से, you know, the origin story is pretty this thing, and the addition of save. You know, Ishwar is somebody who started making मीठा दहीबरा. He is the first person who started making sweet. मतलब 3 खट्टा रहेगा, उसमें एक सरप्राइज एलिमेंट एक मीठा रहेगा. दैट्स बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ द गुजराती मारवाड़ी कम्युनिटी पीपल इन कटक गो टू हिम. और उन गुजराती मारवाड़ीज लाइक टू हैव स्वीट एंड सेवरी, है ना. एंड सेव ऑल्सो प्रोबेबली इज देयर एडिशन, यू नो, बिकॉज दे ईट नमकीन ऑन पोहा, सो मेनी थिंग्स.
But the save in the Dahibara here is quite different from the save.
The one they eat, they eat. So it's like that, you know, it's like Dahibara ऐसे देखा जाए तो it's like celebration of all the communities that are here. You know, everybody has some kind of input given to that recipe, and what it is today is because of that, is what I think. Because there is no written history recipe anywhere about this.
When I went to Bhubaneswar, they added sauce, cornflakes.
Because Bhubaneswar is a smart city, है ना. So we are getting a lot of hate comments for this.
No, actually, I have a very, like, one of my most popular songs, Local Toka. So that's the video that we
right
over there. So that has a line, Khanti Dahibara Nathiba sauce. and that was like that line went crazy. So yeah,
I think we should print this on a t-shirt.
yeah,
है ना?
yeah.
We should
actually,
print this on a
yeah.
t-shirt. This line.
Mostly with ODTs, it will be coming out soon. We have
I'm
this.
buying it definitely.
So that was.
हाँ तो दहीबड़ा का origin story तो that is how it is, you know. Nobody knows where it is, but everybody loves it. And you know, Bidanasi में आज भी like when we go to it at Punya, which is one of my favorite places to eat personally. So Punya दो भाई है, वो एक बिडानासी में बेचते हैं और उनके भाई बेचते हैं मंगला बाग के पास. सुबह सुबह ही बेचते हैं, सेम रेसिपी सेम स्टाइल, एक ही घर में रहते हैं वो लोग. एंड ही यूज्ड टू कम बाय साइकिल. आई स्टिल रिमेंबर व्हेन वी वन स्कूल संडेज को आते थे एंड ही यूज्ड टू वेयर दिस वाइट शर्ट एंड एकदम नी लेंथ का खाकी पैंट्स. एंड वाइट शर्ट में एक भी कोई दाग नहीं रहता था. वाइल लाइक यू नो ही इज सेलिंग समथिंग लाइक दहीबड़ा जिसमें ऐसे गिरता रहता है. एंड ये दिस जेट ब्लैक है, एकदम ऐसे तेल लाके खींच के कंघी करके आता है. बोलता है ये बंदा क्या मानना पड़ेगा. लाइक एंड यूज्ड टू साइकिल, इमेजिन लाइक यूज्ड टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम बिडानासी, साइकिल अप टिल बक्सी बाजार and come back. Then when he got old, he stopped. So his son set up a shop and they sell it there. So his unique thing is again वो सेव नहीं डालता, but वो ग्रीन चिली और अम्बा का से आधा वो सुबह, और वो तुमको फर्स्ट आधे घंटे में ही मिलेगा, उसके बाद वो भी खत्म हो जाता है.
अच्छा, इतना
डिमांड रहता है, you know, it's like that.
Like when we were kids, I remember going to Barbati Stadium and there were like Raghu and many other guys
Correct.
who all set up their shops.
Right.
And they were
Yeah. So Raghu का pretty interesting है. दो टर्म पहले जो चीफ जस्टिस थे यहाँ पे, so he used to come back in the evening, मतलब कोर्ट से, तो that is the way they go to the you know chief justice quarter near the ring road. So he saw इतना भीड़ लग रहा है कि रघु तो पहले लेफ्ट में इधर बैठता था ना, तो उन्होंने पूछा अपने वो मोहरी जो होते हैं ना, उनको पूछा कि अरे क्या है यहाँ पे भीड़ लगता है एवरी डे, गाड़ी को पास करने में प्रॉब्लम. तो उसने बोला कि सर ये ऐसा है, दहीबड़ा बेचता है एंड वो एकदम फेमस है वहाँ, बिकॉज गाड़ी से लाइन लगता था वहाँ पे. सो व्हेन ही वाज देयर, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग दैट जेंटलमैन्स नेम, ही वाज फ्रॉम असम, चीफ जस्टिस जो थे. सो ही पास लाइक नॉट अ नोटिस बट लाइक ऑर्डर कि इसको परमानेंटली वहां पे जगह दिया जाएगा, वेयर रघु सिट्स नाउ.
ओके.
हाँ, बिकॉज ही इज लाइक दिस व्हाटएवर सिटी का एक आइडेंटिटी, उनको परमानेंट जगह वहां पे दे, कोई म्युनिसिपैलिटी उनको हटाएगा नहीं.
Awesome. Like it's a very good decision to keep up the legacy over.
Yeah, because he realized, you know, कि it doesn't matter who is coming, everybody is the same in front of Raghu.
Like most of my friends, whoever, they are like, hey, we'll come to Cuttack, we'll have Raghu Dahibara. Like, like it is that becoming like in Rasgulla because is becoming a trademark. That way he is for the.
Yeah.
Talking of traditional recipes of Dahibara, so how will we like traditionally it was started, because additions were done, but traditionally, like for our viewers or our listeners, can you just explain like what is the process?
So I remember जब the last cyclone that happened ना, Fani, तब कटक में इतना कुछ नहीं हुआ था, बट वो गोप एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट प्लेसेस गॉट रियली डैमेज्ड पूरी साइड. सो मी एंड दिस अदर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन सुमन, वी टुक अ बाइक्स एंड वी सेड कि चलो देख के आते हैं क्या डैमेज कितना हुआ है. तो क्योंकि गाड़ी वाड़ी तो जा नहीं रहा था, सो वो जो जहाँ पे वेलकम टू पूरी लिखा रहता है वहाँ से वी टेक अ लेफ्ट, इट गोज टू गोप, राइट, कोणार्क की तरफ निकलते. तो हम लोग बाइक लेके उसके अंदर गए एंड क्रेजी डेवास्टेशन, लाइक मतलब पेड़ ऐसे गिरे तो आप जहाँ तक आपका आँख पहुँचेगा, यू कैन जस्ट सी द होराइजन, you know, because so many trees had fallen. So जाते जाते एक पॉइंट में एक पेट्रोल पंप था, somehow the petrol pump was running, जनरेटर में चला रहे थे. So we kind of filled up bikes, थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा फ्यूल विल ले ले, पता नहीं क्या होगा. We saw this guy selling दहीबड़ा आलूदम में, and this was 5 days after the cyclone. वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी वहाँ पे पहुँचा नहीं है. मैंने बोला ये दहीबड़ा कैसे बेच रहा है, because for us like the idea is कि अरे वो उड़द दाल को पीसने के लिए तो इलेक्ट्रिक चाहिए ना. तो फिर मेरे दोस्त ने बोला कि यार हम कटक से आके फिर से यहाँ दहीबड़ा खाएंगे. एंड वी वर वेरी हंग्री, यू नो, एंड कुछ तो वहाँ पे नहीं था, दुकान सब बंद था, एंड चिप्स कितना खाओगे तुम. सो वी सेड ओके, वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो क्या होगा, इट विल बी बैड बट लेट्स जस्ट ईट व्हाटएवर वी कैन. सो वी वेंट एंड आस्क्ड हिम, मिले, बोला आई थिंक आई हैव नेवर हैड बेटर दहीबड़ास देन दैट आफ्टर दैट डे. बिकॉज उसमें ना एक टेक्सचर था जो रेयरली कटक में मिलेगा, नो मैटर हाउ गुड दहीबड़ा इज. बिकॉज उसको मैंने पूछा कि इसको कैसे आपने पीसा है, क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है. उसने बोला हाथ से.
तो
So
वो
that
roughness
is
से
yes, जो कि probably traditional दही बड़ा में होता था, because तब तो हाथ से चक्की में उसको पीसते थे, and that is where we had that, and I never had that after that ever anywhere. I'm pretty sure once things were fine, he also started grinding it in the mixie, but उस time उसने लिटरली चक्की में पीस के लाया था, so वो एकदम टेक्सचर था उसमें, दाना दाना ऐसे लग रहा था, एंड उस छोटे छोटे बड़ा, जस्ट हल्का सा आलूदम एंड सेव, बस दैट्स इट. So we were like कि probably traditionally those are the only things that we use. If you see Raghu also, वो क्या लेता है, पत्ता में दही बड़ा डालता है, then he puts salt and chili powder mix जो करके रखते हैं, and आलूदम. And आलूदम में भी if you see the recipe is very simple. It doesn't have any हींग मेथी ये वो कुछ नहीं होता, just खड़ा मसाला, lot of बड़ी इलायची, दालचीनी, लौंग, ब्लैक पेपर होल, ये सब ट्रेडिशनली डालता था. इसका ही मसाला वो लोग रोस्ट करके बनाते हैं, यही मसाला ग्रेवी में जाता है. सो इट इज अ वेरी फ्रूगल रेसिपी, मतलब उसमें कुछ रॉकेट साइंस है नहीं, बट यही है रॉकेट साइंस की, अगर आप वो इक्वेशन जो रेशियो है मसाला का इधर उधर हो गया, देन इट विल टर्न आउट रियली बैड. सो आई थिंक ट्रेडिशनली बिकॉज we had access to such great ingredients, the recipe would have been very simple.
Also the fermentation and the
is naturally because of great humidity that we have, जो ऐसे तो पसीने छूटते हैं, but if you see from a food point of view, it's pretty good to have this humidity. तो फर्मेंट ऐसे ही होता है, उसमें कोई बेकिंग सोडा कुछ नहीं डलता, एंड मेकिंग दही बड़ा इज अ लेबर ऑफ लव, बिकॉज ये पुनिया के पास हम लोग वो 4 बजे से चालू करते हैं काम करना. इट्स नॉट, हम लोग को लगता है सुबह आया तो दे एक्चुअली वर्क द होल डे. दैट्स वाई दे सेल, मतलब दोपहर सुबह जो बेचते हैं 2 घंटा, उसको नेक्स्ट दिन बनाने के लिए पूरा दिन जाता है. हाँ, मैं ऐसे 2 घंटे में सेल करके चला गया वो, बिकॉज उसको बनाने के लिए उसको इतना टाइम लगता है, एंड
वो लोग बोल देते हैं कि चलो 2 घंटे में हो गया इतना पैसा, बट दे डू नॉट सी द
effort that is gone, and it's like a whole household that is involved. The ladies do a lot of work, the men do the मसाला वो बेचने जाते हैं, एंड आप बहुत जगह में देखा होगा कि दही बड़ा जो होता है ना, उसका सीक्रेट होता है सेंटर में अगर हार्ड है, यानी वो उसने जल्दी बनाया है. ठीक है, वो आप पुनिया के पास जाओगे, हाँ, बीच में एक रह जाएगा बॉल, वो इट बिकॉज उसने जल्दी निकाल दिया है. यू गो टू पुनिया, इट्स माई चैलेंज. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट उसका हमेशा परफेक्ट होता है, उसका लास्ट टाइम आई एट उसमें भी एक था, बट ही डिड नॉट गिव एनी ऑफ दैट टू एनी ऑफ हिज कस्टमर्स. उसने बोला कि सेकंड बैच जो सेकंड उसका हंडी होता है, वो जब निकला बोला कि जल्दी में निकला, इसमें थोड़ा गड़बड़ है. ही वाज वेरी ऑनेस्ट अबाउट दैट. एज शेफ्स आल्सो वी डोंट हैव परफेक्ट डेज इन रेस्टोरेंट्स एवर. देयर आर डेज व्हेन वी स्क्रू अप. There are days when the order will be so royally screwed up that the customers will be shouting at you, manager is shouting at you. So you can't have like there are just bad days. So इसका उस दिन वैसा था. So he was pressing it. इसमें hard है, he was keeping it aside and giving us a soft one. तो वो तब भी बनेगा when you are cooking it in low flame. And so if you are making like 100 दही बड़ा, वो easily 3 घंटा लग जाएगा पूरा प्रोसेस सिर्फ दही बड़ा बनाने, क्योंकि उसको स्लो कुक करोगे तभी वो ब्राउन नहीं होगा, वाइट रहेगा और अंदर से पकेगा. सो इट इज जस्ट लाइक मेकिंग अ नॉर्मल वड़ा. साउथ इंडियन में जो नॉर्मल वड़ा होता है, मैसूर वड़ा होता है या कटक में जो वड़ा होता है, एग्जैक्टली सेम प्रोसेस, बट वो एकदम स्लो फ्लेम में कुक करना पड़ता है ताकि वो ऊपर से ब्राउन नहीं हो और अंदर एकदम प्रॉपर्ली कुक हो जाए. सो दैट इज ब्राउन हो जाएगा बट वो अंदर से कच्चा रहेगा. सो इट इज अ लेबर ऑफ लव. इट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. वो आलू को बॉयल करते हैं पहले टू एन एक्सटेंट कि वो एकदम बॉयल नहीं है, बिकॉज उसको फिर वो ग्रेवी में पकेगा. सो इट इज सो मच ऑफ वर्क. एंड वो मटर जो होता है, घुगनी जो भी सब, वो लोग एक हाथ से निकालते हैं, जो काला वाला रह जाता है, जो नहीं बॉयल होता है, दे चक इट आउट. सो इट इज अ लेंदी प्रोसेस टू मेक इट एक्चुअली. एंड हम बोलते हैं कि 2 घंटे में आके चला गया, देखो कितना इसका कितना चंट है ये. But
लेकिन like if we talk about commercialization, so if you are going to commercialize this, do you think that process like
I mean
night time, because see I have a thing like there are 2 kinds of restaurant. One is like artisans restaurant like Chungwa, or like they have retained the chef since long and they have kept the quality. And then comes like KFCs and whatever, you can put it all a chain, like create SOPs. Push it. Whatever, like if Chungwa wants to expand, like they do not expand because like I had heard from certain people who are closely that taste will be compromised, which they do not want. They want to keep it as that legacy, because if they do it as a like extend it as a chain or something, their quality is going to get compromised.
Correct. So for Dahibara, I mean, see, for any food for that matter, you can standardize a recipe. You know, I've done that as part of my profession for a couple of things, where we have standardized the gravy because we wanted it to taste similar across all outlets of the hotel in India.
Okay.
You know, so it's kind of possible, and it's about, I mean, see, technology is something that has to be used intelligently. तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर दहीबड़ा आलूदम का बात करो, अगर मतलब सीक्रेट होता है आलूदम का ग्रेवी, राइट, तो मैं उसका मसाला स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दूंगा. मतलब हाँ, मैं उनको बोल सो वो लोग जब डालते हैं, आप मेजर करते हैं, डालते हैं, यू स्टैंडर्डाइज द रेसिपी ऑफ दैट, and you know how much of onion paste is going, whatever it is, you can standardize it and you can replicate it, you know, to an extent. There will be some difference because see, there are certain elements like water. Now it might sound very funny, but water in every place in India has a different pH level.
Okay.
How that आप जब कटक में पानी से उड़द दाल सोक कर रहे हो, उसको पीस रहे हो, वो फर्मेंट हो रहा है, compared to the same process you do it in Delhi will be completely different.
Yeah, that's the saying, like बीड़ा ना सिर्फ पानी टिका उलगा.
हाँ, it is. नदी के पास है. You know, it's like it's just on the banks of the river. So it's much more sweeter than inside the city.
Okay.
So you know, it might
so
sound.
That plays a vital role.
हाँ, it does. It might sound philosophical, but you know, again, like I said, cooking is all about but it's scientifically, you know, true. Like we have seen it. Like you know, pH levels differ, so recipes will differ from place to place. But how much it differs, that depends on how you are doing it. So I don't think that Dahibara is something that cannot be replicated into a QSC.
But there will be.
It can be. There'll be
like
some.
Even in the KFCs, like one KFC tastes a little different from other KFCs.
Yeah, true. It's because probably of the water, you know, the moisture in the air. All of that plays a vital point in making the ultimate dish. So
these like most people won't think of, but these as a chef,
I do think of. But then again, if you see for Dahibara as a QSR, a lot of people who would be trying it won't have a reference point, right? Like you or me will say कि यार ये तो ऐसा नहीं taste करता, because we have like a Raghu or a Ishwar or somebody as a reference. You know, we have a reference. But if you don't take that reference and just blindly eat it, we like it. You know, it's just that if you have a reference, you're already going in with like a very narrow spectrum.
Yeah.
कि मुझे इसके अंदर ही देखना अच्छा है कि खराब है.
Like in Bangalore or Delhi, like a lot of my North Indian or local friends over there, so they take me like to restaurants, like, see, this is our best mutton. I have it, I'm like, this is not, because I have had khasi over here.
So see, that's your reference,
yeah.
na?
I'm like, no, if for mutton, if it's not like coming up and that
Correct.
I'm like, no, this is just like, I feel it, like the meat doesn't have any taste. You have just wrapped it in masala.
हाँ, like lot of my friends say कि लखनऊ में क्या बिरयानी वो इतना फीका है. I said, yeah, that is one of the original biryani. What are you saying? कि just because you like Cuttack biryani doesn't mean it is bad. It is, you know, you like this taste. Like we like a little flavor, masala, whatever. So it's that, like, so I think Dahibara as a recipe can be scaled up as a QSR. It's just that how you approach it. I mean, I think it's
All
just about.
It depends on who is doing it, how is it.
Yeah, it's like how you approach.
Execution
Execution matters. You know, because there are a lot of the companies which work on this. वो लोग standardize करते हैं recipe. You know, like a lot of the chains like Moti Mail and all, Butter Chicken and all, they have worked with companies who can kind of standardize certain gravies and certain masala. So it's like similar across, you know, all their outlets.
So my sister lives in US. So she, whenever my mom goes from here, so she like literally parcels the Dahibara from here and like take all the dahi out.
अलग से उसको
Then like keep heating the like gugni and aludam, so that all the water gets and it becomes thick. Then she all packs it, and they love it over there. Like,
Right.
My sister, she cooks sometimes, and they love the recipe over there.
So it is possible.
And I feel like Dahibara, if prepared properly, it's a healthy feeling food. Cheap, healthy feeling food.
It's like loaded with carbohydrates. It's loaded with everything possible. Especially in summers, that
it is
is
like
like
heaven.
So it is pretty good like
And
that.
dahi pani you are having like mostly during travels or you are having the dahi pani is like, oh, this
I know.
is heavenly.
So a lot of vendors have observed because ये हो जाएगा कि दही पानी पीते जाओ ना वो लोग अलग से बना के रखते हैं.
हाँ side में
So
बना
whenever I eat, if in a new place, I said नहीं, you take it out from that Dahibara का हंडी and give, because चौंक तो उसी में मारते हैं ना. Like वो Dahibara जो रहता है तो इधर टेम्परिंग तड़का तो उसी में मारते हैं वो लोग.
उसमें नहीं मारते.
नहीं.
I just feel
नहीं वो इसमें तड़का तो उसी में मारते हैं ना, तो दही उसी से निकालना है, तो उसको जो भी वो बोले कि वहीं से दो निकाल के.
मेरे को एक दिक्कत रहती है, like one problem I have with a lot of Dahibara walas, if you are watching us, sev, like they'll just sprinkle it, like I need a good amount of sev on it, they'll just sprinkle it over there.
And it's like a birthright. After eating, you say कि आटे सेव दो, they look at your face कि अरे यार.
So I make sure I always go to the familiar guy. So he will okay.
Yeah, he's a regular. ठीक है.
Otherwise, if I eat somewhere I do not know, they'll just like sprinkle it over there. And after 2 times, I also feel bad, like why
am I asking? It's okay. I won't. मैं बाहर खा लूँगा जाके, है ना? It's like that.
So, like you would have tasted like different varieties of Dahibara. Even as far as I'm aware, like Dahibara Express also sells different kinds of Dahibara over there. So for our viewers, for our listeners, can you just tell us like what are the different, like in Cuttack also there are like one Dahibara wala makes certain kinds, certain.
True.
So what are the different variations of Dahibara you have come across?
So we'll start with like the OG, the original, which is Bidanasi style. Okay, Bidanasi style will just have Dahibara aludam, maybe gugni, nothing else. No sev, no chopped onion, coriander on top, no green chutney, no red chutney, nothing, none of that. Okay. Just Dahibara aludam, maybe gugni, and like I said, some of them use green chili and amada, that is their mango ginger. That's it. That's like. And again, like I was telling you, like when you have a recipe जिसमें simple चीजें हैं, it's very easy to screw it up. तो वहाँ पे आपको पता चल जाएगा कि कितना इसमें like दम है, because उसने कुछ डाला नहीं. प्याज डालते ही तो कुछ भी अच्छा लगता है ना, and चटनी डालते ही कुछ भी अच्छा लगता है. उसमें कुछ है नहीं, उसने बस आलू का ग्रेवी है और मटर अगर है, घुगनी है, that's it, and दही बड़ा है. So उसमें 3 things, 3 different textures, and वो सॉल्ट एंड चिली पाउडर, सॉल्ट चिली पाउडर एंड जीरा का रोस्टेड करके डालते हैं. दैट्स इट. सो दैट इज ऑल दैट इज देयर. That is like the original. Then you come to Ishwar, whose I consider again another original style, where he added that one element which is that sweet vada. And it's like this surprise thing. आप दही बड़ा खा रहे हो and suddenly उसमें एक मीठा निकलेगा, वो अच्छा लगता है. Even though like as Odias, we don't eat too much of sweet when we're eating something like that, but locals love it at Ishwar, and that is his signature, जिसको देखते ही बहुत लोगों ने चालू किया उसके बाद. Like a lot of people kind of replicated that. Then you go to stadium, which is where most of the Dahibara vendors sit, and because stadium was a place कि नदी के पास है, वो मंदिर गढ़चंडी है, चंडी मंदिर है, and stadium hai. So a lot of people used to come there, like when Bhubaneswar, so because most of the offices, if you observe, your police headquarters, all of them are in that area. Cantonment Road, all of them, Postmaster General's office, all of them are in that area. So a lot of people used to come and end up in the stadium ke paas aao, wahan pe Dahibara khao. Those Dahibara vendors started adding things like chutney, because people asked for it, and I don't think it is wrong. Like a lot of people said कि this is wrong. I said it's like survival of the fittest. ना आप नहीं बनाओगे, your sale will drop. Your guy next door will make chutney. He will sell it. So they started making this green chili, dahi, coriander ka chutney, like tuna mix. They started adding this roasted jeera, black pepper ka powder on top, just to give it a better this thing. So that is another variation. Then you go to Bhubaneswar, that is their version. Let's put it like that. You know, they'll add
Few
roast.
guys I know, like one is Jogi Dahibara, I'm aware of. Like they put it in authentic style.
Yeah. There's one guy, Vishwajit had introduced me to this guy where he used to eat when he went to move to Bhubaneswar from his school days. That guy used to, I think he still sits near the Bhubaneswar club.
Okay.
Bhubaneswar club के दीवार के side में he is brilliant.
Okay.
As good as Cuttack. Like I'll give it that to him. एकदम simple, no shusha, nothing. अच्छा बनाता है वो. तो भुवनेश्वर में, but then because Bhubaneswar again became like a place where lot of people from lot of places came ना. तो उसने कहीं पे peanuts मिलेगा आपको, कहीं पे वो मसाला cornflakes मिलेगा. So those things got added and it's like this always running joke between Cuttack and Bhubaneswar की sauce डाल के खाते हो. But वो उनका version है, you know, let's put it like that. It's just like you can't, I mean, see, somebody said कि जैसे दहीबरा को GI tag क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है? मतलब GI tag कैसे लगाओगे GI tag? क्योंकि कटक के अंदर में एक रेसिपी नहीं है. You know, GI tag will given to a recipe which is like पहाड़ों में सब लोग रसगुल्ला एक ही रेसिपी में बनाते हैं. ठीक है, इसलिए पहाड़ रसगुल्ला को मिला क्योंकि दैट रेसिपी स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड इन द सेंस द प्रोसेस इज सेम. कटक के अंदर सेम नहीं है, मतलब विद इन 5 किलोमीटर इट विल चेंज. So how can you GI tag that? So until that is GI tag, तो because I have observed one thing, it's a very great marketing technique. आप कहीं पे भी जाओ, यहाँ से आप जाओ भद्रक तक, वहाँ पे लिखा रहेगा कटक प्रसिद्ध दहीबरा आलूदम. तो उसको पूछो कहाँ से है, बोलेगा मैं यहीं से हूँ. But that's a marketing technique, right? You know, the moment you see Cuttack and you connect the दहीबरा है. तो मतलब these are the probably the versions of दहीबरा. I had heard बीच में किसी ने दहीबरा के साथ मटन और प्रॉन्स सर्व कर रहा था कहीं पे. But I apparently heard कि भुवनेश्वर में हाँ चिकन एंड बट 6 महीने बंद हो गया, ऑब्वियसली बंद होगा. Yeah. So you know, so I will say I'll give it to him. He tried something radical, but everything doesn't work.
Chicken samosas, mutton samosas, and after trying, I was like, this was a waste of money.
Yeah.
Then my friend was like, these are not fools that they are just putting aloo inside.
Right. Since years, yeah. So it's like that. So people have tried a lot of things, but यही मतलब these are the variations that I would say that Dahibara has.
So like, what would be your suggestions? Like, few key things that while preparing Dahibara one should keep in mind as a chef. What would be your
first is probably the vada, which is very important. Dahibara. So उसका जो urad dal, you know, it has to be good quality urad dal, soaked overnight. You know, then you grind it. And nowadays electric stone mixie भी आ रहा है table छोटा सा. So you grind it in that. It takes longer time, but you get that right texture. And then let it naturally ferment. You know, थोड़ा सा हल्का सा नमक डालो, mix करो, naturally वो ferment होगा. एंड वन टेस्ट इज कि मतलब वो बोलते हैं ना दहीबरा एकदम हल्का एयर जैसे होना चाहिए. तो उसका क्या है, जब बिफोर फ्राइंग यू बेसिकली विप इट विथ योर हैंड. यू नो, सो यू टेक लाइक थोड़ा सा बैटर एक बोल में एंड आप यू नो हाथ से उसको विप करो. देन टेक अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ इट एंड ड्रॉप इट इन अ बोल ऑफ वाटर. ठीक है, तो वो एकदम अगर हल्का है ना वो ऊपर आ जाएगा पानी में, इट विल फ्लोट. सो देन यू नो कि इट्स गॉट इनफ ऑफ एयर टू फ्राई. So it will be
a whisker or something.
You can, but it won't give the right results.
It won't give.
No, I have tried. So lockdown mein everybody tried making dahibara, right? Because that was when people realized कि it's okay, we don't have vaccine, हमको dahibara चाहिए. So everybody started making dahibara that time. And as a chef, I never made like dahibara aloo dum ghugni, but हमने बोला चलो बनाते हैं तब. So I asked one of my senior, you know, one of my aunts कि कैसे बनना है, कैसे बनेगा ये. तो उन्होंने ये ट्रिक दिया था. So we use the hand, like you wash the hand nicely and you just, you know, beat it just before frying.
Okay.
And वो पानी में डालते ही थोड़ा सा it'll come up. Okay. So you know कि there's enough of air in it too.
Plain water or hot water?
Normal water. Okay. Normal water. And then you fry it. Then again you have to fry it slow. Like you heat the oil up. Then एकदम उसको low flame में लाके एक करके डालो and you know don't overcrowd the कढ़ाई. Slowly उसको you have to cook it till the inside gets cooked and you get like slight brown color, reddish color आता है. If you observe, that's it. That is one of the most important things. And then coming to the aloo dum, I would suggest don't go berserk with the masalas because you need to keep it very simple. You know, it's like it's मैंने बोला black cardamom, you know, black pepper, coriander, jeera, एंड ड्राइड रेड चिली, यही बस खड़ा मसाला होता है जिसको अच्छे से रोस्ट करके हाथ से ही कूटते हैं इन अ मॉर्टर एंड पेसल, उसको कूटते हैं एंड फ्रॉम दैट यू मेक द आलू दम का ग्रेवी, you know, and you don't add any garam masala, any kitchen king, you know, don't add any of that, you'll just spoil it. And
like I have had Dahibaras over here who like use the hand ground spices, and I have had Dahibaras that use the ready made, and there's a taste
hell and heaven difference, because till now I don't use grinders to grind my masalas, even while working professionally, even at home. I have a chota motor pestle for like cooking at home. When I used to work in hotels, we had invested in a stone electric grinder.
Okay.
कि उसी में करना है तो उसी में करना है, you know, because that makes a lot of difference. It does make a lot of difference. So yeah, I think these are the main key things to keep in mind. And when coming to toppings, again, like, you know, it's just personal thing that I don't really like adding even curd on top. A lot of people add curd on top. Yeah, I don't add that. I mean, I'm good with some chopped green chili and save.
I guess that sauce thing, Srinath Dahibara, they add that red sauce.
Yeah, he started. I don't even know what that sauce is made out of.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is not chili and tomato.
Maybe like a lot of
बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि
sauce is from pumpkin.
Pumpkin, हाँ, तो ये भी ऐसे ही कुछ होगा. But see, Srinath had a very unique USP.
Yeah.
His aloo dum used to taste like mutton gravy.
Yeah.
Because he used to use, so I've been to Srinath's house, lot of people कि वो मटन चर्बी डालता है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
Okay.
You know, it's just hearsay. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि वो मटन उसमें चर्बी वर्बी डालता था. So I've seen that Srinath uses exactly the same masalas that I use for mutton curry.
Okay.
ठीक है, जिंजर गार्लिक पेस्ट जिसमें गार्लिक ज्यादा है, जिंजर थोड़ा कम है, यू नो, अनियन अच्छा से उसको भूनते हैं जैसे मटन ग्रेवी बनता है, यू नो. एंड मटन ग्रेवी में जो घर में मसाला डालते हैं, जो उड़िया घर में गरम मसाला होता है, वही वो डालता है. सो ऑब्वियसली इट विल गिव यू मटन का टेस्ट ना.
Even Ramo Dahibara in the front of the street.
हाँ, राम भाई.
He also has a different.
He also has a different this thing. See, मतलब he is again somebody who comes by cycle अभी भी. साइकिल में लेकर, हाँ, अरे कितना बोला ऑटो बना लो, बोला नहीं चाहिए मुझे, मैं इसी में खुश हूँ. You know, he comes by cycle and goes. Then you go further down the road, Bhoggi. So Bhoggi is really old, his grandson, and they are running it. So Bhoggi's unique thing is Bhoggi का घुगनी is unbeatable in Cuttack. उसका हर एक मटर पका होता है, because ये वो घर में बैठ के से उसको एक खराब जो निकाल देते हैं. They only take the best of the mutton and boil it. You know, a lot of places you will see you are eating घुगनी में एक हार्ड आ जाएगा, बिकॉज उसमें वो रहता है हार्ड काला वाला ना. बट इसका ये हाथ से उसको क्लीन करते हैं, सो दैट नन ऑफ दिस इज देयर. सो यू नो, दीज थिंग्स आर व्हाट यू ऑब्जर्व फ्रॉम Dahibara vendors, and whenever you're making Dahibara, you should also keep in mind. You know, see, they are making so much quantity, they can put that much of effort. अगर आप घर में 10 लोगों के लिए बना रहे हो, इतना एफर्ट तो डाल ही सकते हो ना.
Otherwise, you can just get a cook.
Yeah, that's true.
So, can you share like a few memories you have had over Dahibara or related to Dahibara? Any fun memory?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot. Like I told you in the beginning, like Dahibara is something. If there's something to celebrate, you eat Dahibara. If you had a breakup, you eat Dahibara. In Cuttack, everybody does Dahibara के around ही सब कुछ, you know.
We have Dahibara Khattis over here.
Yeah, we have Dahibara Khattis. Like people make plans, like, you know, जब before, like I remember. So one of the memories that I can tell you is last year. So during either Durga Puja or Bali Jatra, everybody who's outside this state, now what they've tried to come during that time. It's vacation, everybody gets. So a lot of my friends who had not come from lockdown, मतलब वो बाहर रहते थे, इंडिया के बाहर, like some of my friends who stay in Doha, in Canada, they lockdown, so they got stuck there. They never came after that. They came last year, after these many years. So they told their parents कि इस दिन में हम लोग पहुंच रहे हैं, but so and so these friends are coming from Cuttack to pick us up. Why? Because you take the luggage and go. We are going straight to eat Dahibara aloo dum. You know, that is the thing. So it is like, you know, कि we were talking कि अरे college में भी हम लोग ऐसे, just when we finished tuition and all, we used to go and eat Dahibara at this one place. It was just like that, like 12, 13 of us, you know, all of us like straight from the airport, Cuttack के Dahibara खाना है. You know, it's like that. And then it's just that you're eating Dahibara and you start talking about, and food is something that is immaterial of it is Dahibara Aludam or not, it just like, you know, it just connects people, you relate things to it. अब अरे पता है यहाँ पे जब बिरयानी खाया था ऐसा हुआ था, यहाँ पे दहीबड़ा खाया था ऐसा हुआ था. So it was like that, you know. And yeah, I think some other memories that I can share is I think when we did our +2, so when we gave the last paper, none of us knew what is going to happen, result kya niklega, and also a lot of us, like, some of us were tensed because, you know, they were preparing for engineering and all of that. So we were like, pata nahi, jo hoga dekha jayega, dahibara khane chalo, you know. It's like that. And when the result came, some of my friends who were expecting these many marks did not get, so they said, yaar, you know, I was expecting, you know, so and so percentage, but itna aa gaya. So then again it was like, it's okay man, chal, let's go have dahibara, you know. It's like that. And I think when you go to like your known dahibara, your favorite dahibara person or whatsoever, probably whatever kind of situation you are in that time na, आप जब उसके पास जाते हो, I think when you meet him and you're like, अरे केमती अच्छा और केमती अच्छा ना, it's like you know, you forget all of that for a while and you are at कि चलो, it's okay, you know. So
and the process of eating it is so indulging.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ask for the extra ghugni,
And it's pretty interesting in a place like Cuttack. I remember when Bhaggi himself used to come to sell at Mission Road. I had gone with my dad, okay? And this was like, probably I was like 13, 14 years old or whatever. Now my dad had graduated, he finished his school, Stuart School, se Cub. But they used to all eat there, and this guy remembered him. Matlab, not him, like all the other friends. कि अच्छा तो हाँ आपनकर एथरे एटा पड़ीबनी ना. So I was like कि भाई साहब ये क्या मतलब अलग ही है, you know. Then and I was like, then he is introduced कि this is my son. And then when I went to +2, I also used to go to it too. So it was like कि, you know, dahibara, yeah, it's like more, and it's like a learning thing for if you're in the service industry. How do you do this? Exactly. You know, you are taught in MBA schools about, you know, customer retention and this and that. Like ये लोग ये कब से कर रहे हैं?
उनको पता है ये खड़ा है, मतलब ये इसको ऐसा.
So those are like some really fond memories. I remember when I was in Manipur, I used to tell this in my class during certain group discussions. Ki, you know, we have these people who remember, you know, people from so many years, how they eat customized recipe, मतलब customized dish क्या है, उनको सब याद रहता है. You know, which is pretty interesting.
So before we end this entire Dahibara topic, we'd like to know what are your top 5 places for Dahibara.
So top 5 places, okay. I'll tell you a mix of Cuttack and Bhubaneswar, okay.
Sure.
So Cuttack mein I would first rank Punya, okay. He only comes for 2 hours, 2.5 hours in the morning. Location Bidanasi Boula Chakka. The circle जहाँ पे बिडानासी ring road का छक, just take a left. Immediately after you take a left, you will see now there's this water, cold water municipality का एक लगा है, public drinking water. उसके बैंक opposite एक blue color का table है, 4 हंडी होगा, 2 लड़के खड़े होंगे, काफी भीड़ होगा, आपको पता चल जाएगा, पुनिया का है वो. And he is my favorite in the morning. Second person is Kunna Tunna. It's again stadium, बारवाड़ी स्टेडियम में आप जाओगे, कुन्ना टुन्ना, वहाँ पे लिखा होगा कुन्ना टुन्ना दहीबड़ा आलूदम. कुन्ना टुन्ना भी आते नहीं, उनके पापा और उनके भाई आते हैं, बिकॉज कुन्ना शाम में दहीबड़ा, अब दे आल्सो सेल इन द इवनिंग. So morning में he is the second one. Third actually दहीबड़ा आलूदम, I mean, is one which is, he stands near Grand Cinema के opposite, ठीक है. So this other friend of mine, Nikhil, he had introduced me to that दहीबड़ा. तो ग्रैंड सिनेमा के सामने बैठता है साइकिल में. वेरी गुड स्टफ. सो दैट्स आई थिंक इन द मॉर्निंग के, मतलब मेरा ये है. इवनिंग, व्हेन इट कम्स टू इवनिंग, आई प्रिफर टू ईट इट एट ईश्वर, बिकॉज उसका थोड़ा हल्का है, मसाला वसाला रात को आई डोंट प्रिफर ईटिंग टू मच. सो आई लाइक द दहीबड़ा दैट ही सेल्स. एंड ईश्वर इज इन बिजू पटनायक चक. वो लोग अभी 2 बेटे अलग अलग बेच रहे हैं. बोथ आर इक्वली गुड. आई वोंट से कि ये ओजी है वो नहीं है, जो भी है. सो बोथ ऑफ देम सेल अलग अलग, बट इक्वली, यू नो, गुड बोथ ऑफ देम. एंड भुवनेश्वर में एक्चुअली दिस वन दहीबड़ा दैट आई एब्सोल्युटली लव इज, ये पोखरीपुट में बेचता है, त्रिमूर्ति. ओके, नाउ व्हाई आई लाइक दैट गाइस दहीबड़ा इज, उसका दहीबड़ा इज हिज ओन वर्जन ऑफ दहीबड़ा. ये ऐसा नहीं कि कटक का दहीबड़ा आलूदम घुगनी लेके उसमें कुछ ऊपर डाल दिया बेच दिया. नो, it's his style of making dahibara and aludam. So his vadas are literally that big. ठीक है, हाँ, हाफ प्लेट में एक ही देगा
Okay.
एंड फुल में 2 आता है एंड ही सोक्स इट इन हिज, जो दही का पानी रखता है इमीडिएटली उसी में सोक करता है एंड देन ही क्रशेज लाइक अ मिर्ची एंड पुट्स हिज ओन मसाला एंड मेक्स दिस थोड़ा सा पागो,
Okay.
पुट्स इट ऑन दैट एंड उसके ऊपर घुगनी आलूदम डालता है. इट इज ब्रिलियंट. उसी का खुद का स्टाइल है. सो आई लाइक हिम बिकॉज ही इज ओरिजिनल. मतलब वो अपने स्टाइल से बनाता है.
Tried that, I will definitely.
या ही इज रियली गुड, ही इज रियली गुड, ही इज रियली गुड. त्रिमूर्ति,
Okay.
ठीक है, पोखरीपुट में ही बेचता है, बहुत अच्छा है. सो या आई थिंक माई 5 picks विल बी दिस, विद ईच वन इज यूनिक.
So what would be your Dahibara preference? Like we have also these small baras. I guess they are mostly extinct now.
हाँ, mostly extinct, yeah.
But
yeah.
as I remember as kids, the Dahibara walas came by cycles. They used to do tak tak
तक 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 हाँ.
and they
वो अभी भी आपको वो बुल्ला व्यापारी बोलते हैं
हाँ,
उनका.
हाँ,
हाँ, सो बुल्ला व्यापारी आपको मिलेंगे जिसमें यू विल स्टिल फाइंड स्मॉल दहीबरास. बॉगी इन द मॉर्निंग मिशन रोड के पास बैठता है. ही हैज स्मॉल बिकॉज दैट्स हिज सिग्नेचर स्टाइल. So वो बेचते हैं, but otherwise you won't find much of those small baras.
So what would be your preference, like the large ones?
No, I really like the small ones, but yeah, small ones. But अपुनिया वगैरह वो बनाते हैं because commercially वो भी चलता है थोड़ा. But if I'm really in the mood to have, so I go to bhogi, which is again another. I mean, if I either it's morning में either is punya or bhogi. It's like an weigh it out. You know, it depends on. And bonus में दहीबरा आलूदम वाला मैं बोलूँगा रात को नया सड़क. 10 बजे जो आता है. There are few who sit before. शाम में बैठते हैं. This one guy who comes at 10:30 in the night.
Okay.
10 o'clock. एकदम हाँ एकदम गरम. He is damn good. Like and spicy. Like, you know, if you like spicy in the night, if you want to have a heart one, you can go and have that.
So being a chef, so you like you would be preparing a lot of dishes like as a part of your job, but simultaneously you will be like having that creative and innovative kick in you to do something. So how do you balance that, or how do you keep on doing that in the long run? Like you said, burn down happens.
Yeah, it does happen. I think every day is a learning process, especially in my profession. I mean, if you say कि oh I know it all in the kitchen, I mean you have lost the plot there. मेरे हिसाब से यही लगता है, because food is something which goes beyond cultures, boundaries, everything, you know, everything. And the more you speak to people, the more you read, the more you travel, you will keep seeing things related to food, be it a dish, ingredient, technique, whatever it is, which you never knew 24 hours before. But now you know it for the rest of your life, you know. And you will do that again the next day. And so I try to do that. So whenever I travel, I make a list of कहाँ पे क्या खाना है. And I reach out to people. I don't Google like 10 places. It will give you the obvious. You know, I reach out to people, look for Instagram handles, send them a message. Hey, you know what, I'm traveling to this city, your city. So if you can give me any interesting suggestions, I would like to check them out. And most of the time it works. I mean, all the time it works. There will be somebody who will respond. They'll take you to the sabzi market. You know. So that's how I try to, you know, keep myself, you know, always thinking. And you know, I do get creative blocks. I won't deny that. But the only way to break it is I go somewhere where I don't think about food.
Okay.
But I am exposed to food. You know, I'll go to the fish market. I'll go to a place and I'll go to the wholesale market and see what's happening there. You know, so I mean that's where I try to.
Like creativity happens when you start connecting random dots.
Yeah.
You just pick up information.
Yeah.
And then when that creativity happens, you're actually connecting those random.
Correct. It's like you're reading a novel which is nothing related to book, but आप उसमें कुछ recipe लिखा रहेगा and suddenly you have closed the novel and you started researching about what is this recipe. You know, like for example, James Bond वो बोलते हैं ना, I like a martini shaken not stirred, but only in the last Bond movie they actually told the recipe, where you know Daniel Craig tells the recipe. I want a martini, one large of this, that, blah blah blah.
Okay.
You know, so then you're like, why didn't I think of this? So then you try to Google, why does he drink that? Why not this? You know, so it's like that. It's pretty interesting. Like, and I like to, you know, keep challenging myself कि कुछ नया सीखा, क्यों नहीं सीखा, ये नहीं पता था. You know, it's like that.
Got it. So, what are the common misconceptions you have faced as a chef? Like any, what are the people?
ओ वो तो बहुत है, लाइक वो तो लिस्ट लंबा हो जाएगा, उसके लिए और एक पॉडकास्ट करना पड़ेगा. इट्स लाइक पीपल थिंक कि ओ अच्छा यू आर अ शेफ, ओ वाओ. मतलब मैंने बोला एक्सक्यूज मी, आप अगर सोच रहे हो कि वो जैसे एड में आता है ना एकदम बाल ऐसे जेल्ड है, वाइट शेफ कोट, इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. इट्स लॉट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क, यू नो. ऐसा कोई मतलब एड में दिखाता है शेफ्स के हैंड एकदम ऐसे क्लीन होते हैं, मैनिक्योर्ड. ऐसा नहीं होता. लाइक आई हैव लाइक ऑल, आई मीन आई कॉल लाइक देयर आर सो मेनी स्कार्स दैट आई हैव. आई कॉल देम बैटल स्कार्स. You know, it's like at the line of work, in the line of work, it will happen. You know, it's like obvious. It's like, you know, everything basically your mother told you to be away from, fire, sharp things, you know, things like that. That's what you're working. Yeah, that's what you're working. So, you know, those are misconceptions chefs have. कि you वो सोचते हैं कि हम लोग हमेशा घर आके खाना बनाते हैं. We don't cook food at all because you're so tired cooking at the restaurant that you don't cook at home. And even if you come home, they think कि so you love eating pasta. I love eating dal rice.
Okay.
You know, even when I used to work in Goa, I used to come back home and my roommate Rahul used to like make dal and keep. And मैं आते ही अच्छा गरम राइस बनाते थे हम दोनों दाल, because he used to work in the hotel industry also. We dal rice and we are sorted. You know, so these are misconceptions.
So before we end the podcast, we like to know a section like under 60 seconds you
Oh.
have to
अच्छा.
describe your favorite recipe.
Oh. Okay.
From scratch.
हाँ ठीक है ठीक है. So I'll tell you in 60 seconds my favorite recipe, which is dalma.
Okay.
ठीक है, that's the version of dal I absolutely love. So you start by soaking अरहर का दाल, तूर दाल. ठीक है, you start by soaking that. And the best thing about dalma is it is seasonal. So vegetable that goes in dalma changes from house to house, changes from season to season, and that is a dish that celebrates seasonality, which chefs abroad are using एकदम कि we are using seasonal vegetables. यहाँ पे बहुत पहले से हम लोग कर रहे हैं ये चीज़. So you soak the dal, you boil the dal, just adding haldi and salt, nothing else. You cut all your vegetables. The secret to a good dalma is you start putting the vegetables like pumpkin first. So if you are putting like potato, वो बाद में जाएगा. If you are putting like बैंगन, some people do, बाद में जाएगा. First goes pumpkin. A lot of people say कि potato is pretty new, but उससे पहले क्या अरबी डलता था उसमें. अरबी इज वो जो वाइट कलर का आलू होता है जो लोकल माटी आलू, वो डलता था उसमें. ठीक है. सो दोज थिंग्स यू ऐड लेट, धीरे धीरे बाद में. एंड द सीक्रेट, सो आप दाल बॉयल के वेजिटेबल्स काट, सो व्हाइल द दाल इज बॉइलिंग यू क्लीन द वेजिटेबल्स, एड इट टू दैट, कट इट इनटू यूनिफॉर्म पीसेस, एड इट वन आफ्टर द अदर, पुट अ लॉट ऑफ हल्दी इन इट and boil it. Now once the vegetables are boiled, that's when the magic comes. You know, ये रेसिपी इतना सिंपल है. जीरा मिर्ची का पाउडर आप बना के रखो, उसके ऊपर डालो ग्रेटेड कोकोनट, lot of ghee. You know, ghee is good. You know, अगर somebody says कि ghee is bad for you, it is not. Ghee is very good for you. You add that and that's it, man. And I mean, I don't think there's another wholesome dal than that, probably.
Just with some hot rice.
Oh yes, और कुछ नहीं चाहिए उसके साथ. And a great dal is, for me, is where the guys in Puri make the best dalma. है ना? Yeah, that's because वो कुक होते जाता है और उसको वो कुक होते ही रहने देते हैं, उसमें दाल सब्जी सब मिल जाता है. You know, to an extent, it becomes that thick without adding anything. And that and rice, I don't think there's a third thing you need for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite recipe.
So here we have a small
Thank
token
you
of from our team.
Thank you so much.
So thank you, Rachit bhai.
Thank you so much. It's great.
Thank you.
Great
I wish
talking.
you guys a very happy
Dahibara Divas.